Hello everyone, today I am going to explain the new topic, that is vertical stresses below the applied loads. Or in this topic I am going to discuss all these contents one by one. So first I will start with the introduction. So the stresses induced in a soil due to the two reasons. First one is due to the cell weight which is lying above on it. So we have discussed in this cell weight, we have discussed in the previous class, that is we have calculated the total stress. Okay, and this can be called a geostatic stress. And second is due to the applied loads. So the applied loads depends upon the stress strain characteristics of a soil, and this curve, stress strain curve, depends upon the various factors such as drainage condition, water content, void ratio, rate of loading, load level, and the stress path. So that is, to study the stress strain curve is very complex. So for simplification, we are assuming the stress strain curve for an isotropic and homogeneous soil is linear. So the main parameter for this stress strain curve is the modulus of plasticity and the Poisson's ratio. By using the triaxial test, we can calculate the modulus of plasticity. Geostatic stress, so when the ground surface is horizontal and the properties of soil do not change along the horizontal plane, the stress due to the cell weight is known as the geostatic stress. And such a condition generally exists in a sedimentary soil deposit. Means the soil are placed in a layer wise, say one layer, second layer, third layer, fourth layer. Okay. So I have shown in the figure, you can see that I have shown a single layer. So the height of soil is the Z. So what are the total stress below the Z distance from the ground surface? So we can calculate the total weight divided by the area. So we can get this value, gamma into Z. Suppose this soil are placed in a number of layers, and there the density of a soil is different and height are different. So we can write in the summation format. So total weight we can write, and dividing the area we can write the summation where the 1 to n gamma I into Zi. If the density of soil is do not constant, so density of soil is vary in a single layer. So how we will write? So we can write for a single layer, we can write weight of soil is the 0 to Z gamma A dz, where the gamma is varying from 0 to Z. And for the calculate the total stress, we can calculate the total weight divided by the area. So we can write this value, or we can take out the area is constant, so we can take out the outer side from the integration sign, and that will be nullify. So we can write 0 to Z gamma dz. If the variation of unit weight of soil is n layer, if suppose unit weight is also varying, so how we can write for n layers? So we can write summation of this. For single layer we can write 0 to Z1 gamma 1 Z dz. For second layer we can write, so the summation of n layers we can write this value. So the vertical stress is due to the concentrated load. So the Boussinesq has given the theoretical solution to calculate the vertical stresses due to the externally applied concentrated load. So by using the Boussinesq equation we can calculate the vertical stresses. So before writing that equation, we have to consider some assumption. So that assumption are, you can write down also. Soil mass is a elastic medium. It means it has a constant modulus of plasticity, and that is the ratio between the stress and strain is constant. The soil mass is homogeneous. It means it has identical properties throughout the soil. Soil is isotropic. It means it has identical properties in all direction. The soil mass is weightless and free from the residual stresses before the application of load. Means the soil, the weight of soil we have to take the 0. And the last one is the soil's mass is semi-infinite. Semi-infinite means it can be go in the top side up to the limited, but it can be go up to the infinite in any other direction. So that we can say the soil is a semi-infinite. So I have shown in the figure. So you can see in this figure, so we have to calculate the vertical stress at the point P. So the p coordinate is x, y, z, means x, y and z are in the x and y and z axis. So we can write by using the Boussinesq equation, we can write 3q cos q beta by 2 pi r square, where the q is the applied concentrated load and beta is the angle between the capital R and vertical distance z. So we can write cos beta is equal to z by r, or you can write sin beta small r divided by r. So by using this relation, we can write sigma z, that is vertical stress at the point P. We can write 3q z5 2 pi z square r to the power 5, or we can write like this, or we can write like this. So sigma z, we can write kb into q by z square, where the kb is this value and kb is the, we can call a Boussinesq influence coefficient of vertical stress. Boussinesq influence coefficient for the vertical stress. So we can write kb is equal to this. So we can write vertical stresses at the point P is sigma z is equal to kb q by z square. So we can write also the shear stress at the point P. So trz at the point P, we can write 3q cos square beta sin beta divided by 2 pi r q, by using the cos beta and sin beta in terms of z, r and small r. So we can write like this. Okay, so the shear stress is I have shown in the figure. You can see this I mentioned in the all plane. So we have to just remember the kb, what are the kb and what are the sigma z. Okay, some of the important points are come from the vertical stresses due to the concentrated load by using the Boussinesq equation. So these are the we have taken the, you remember we have taken the stress strain graph for the soil is a linear, but in actual case that is not a linear. But we have got the vertical stress at a point P that is not dependent upon the modulus of elasticity and Poisson's ratio. That is the free from the what is the modulus of elasticity and Poisson's ratio. So we can say that for elastic medium, for all type of material, the vertical stresses would be constant because that is not depending upon the elasticity and the Poisson's ratio. The intensity of vertical stresses just below the load unit, you can write sigma z equal to 0.4775 into q by z square. So we can write the kb value is equal to 0.4775. So we can get this value by using the r is equal to 0, because if you will calculate the intensity just below the load, means r is the polar distance is 0. So by putting the value r is equal to 0, we can get this value kb is equal to 0.4775, and we can write sigma z is equal to 0.4775 q by z square. So at z is equal to 0, only the finite stresses develop. What is the meaning of that? Theoretically, you can see that if we will put the value of z, so we can get the vertical stresses is infinity. But that is not in the real cases. The vertical stresses are induced in a small area, on finite area. That is very small. So at that point, the stresses will be maximum. It will not be infinity, right? So that's why we call it that at a z is equal to 0, only finite stresses develop, not infinite, right? So actually, when you will increase the r by z ratio, so what we can get the kb value or sigma z value is decreasing, right? So we can get the sigma z value is 0. So we can get that sigma z value 0 up to the infinity value of r by z ratio. So in practical case, when we are getting r by z is equal to 5 or more, so that we got the sigma z, that is a vertical stresses, becomes extremely small and we can be neglected. Okay, so this is the very important point you can note down. because you will see the condition where the R by Z is increasing, so the sigma Z is decreasing. So up to R by Z is equal to 5 or more, so from there we can neglect the value of sigma stress, sigma Z, and that is the vertical stress, we can say. So whatever the vertical stresses we are getting in the field, that is less than the whatever the given in the Boussinesq solution. So means we are in the safe side. We are designing one structure or any material for the high stresses, but in practically the stress is coming low. So we are on the safe side. So we can say that Boussinesq solution gives the conservative value, and it is commonly used in the soil engineering problem. So I'm going to solve one numerical, and that are given the 1 into 2.5 meter footing shown in the figure 3 support a vertical load 475 kilonewton. Compute the magnitude of a sigma Z, that is a vertical stress at the point P, considering both geostatic and unit stresses. So we can calculate the simply we will add the just total weight of whatever the soil laying or above that point. So we can calculate the total stress, that is the density of soil into the height of the soil layer. So we can calculate the total stress. So here the given the density is 17 and height is given 1.2. So we can calculate the total stress gamma into Z, 17 into 1.2. So we can get the 20.40 kilonewton per meter square. So the stresses induced due to the point load at a point P. So by using the Boussinesq solution, we can write this equation where the x is given 1.25, where the y is given 0.5, where the z is given 1.2. So by using the x and y, we can calculate the r, that is the polar distance. So we can calculate the root under 1.25, that is the value of x, plus 0.5, that is the value of y. So we can calculate the r, we get 1.346. Okay, so now we have the value of r, we have the value of z, so we can calculate the value of kb, or directly we can calculate the sigma z. So we got 20.55 kilonewton per meter square. So the total stresses induced in a soil, I already discussed in the previous slide, that it is summation of the due to the cell weight and summation of due to the applied load. So the cell weight, that is the geostatic, we got 20.40, and by the applied load we got 20.55. So by adding those both value, we can get the total vertical stress that is induced at the point P. Vertical stress distribution diagram, we will see one by one. So the first one is the isobar diagram. So we can also call the contour of equal stress. So it is the line joining of all points of equal vertical stress, that is called sigma z below the ground surface. Okay. So if we will calculate, we will take the point, we will join a line due to the point of equal vertical stress, then we can get the graph of isobar diagram, right? So from the Boussinesq equation, we know that this, so we can take the any value, a constant value of sigma z. So we are taking sigma z is equal to 0.1 q. So if this value we can put the Boussinesq equation, we can get the kb is equal to 0.1 z square. Then we can make this table. So how we will make this table? Just listen first. So we will make this table row by row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row. So first we will assume the value of z, means we will fill the, by assumption we will fill the first row. So we are taking the z is a 0.25, 0.5, 0.75, 1.0, 1.25. And we have the kb is equal to 0.1 z square. So we can put the value of z, we can get the kb, so we can fill the second row, that is kb. And we have the equation kb is equal to in terms of the ratio of r by z. So we have the value of kb, so we can calculate the ratio of r by z. So we can fill the third row. And now we have R by Z ratio and Z value. We can fill the fourth row, that is value of R. So we can make the graph between the R and Z, and we can get this graph. And this is the example of isobar diagram. So in this diagram, at every point the vertical stress is a constant, that is 0.1 Q. Second one is the vertical stress distribution on a horizontal plane. What is the meaning of that? At every depth we can calculate what is the distribution in a vertical stress in a horizontal plane. So for that we have taken Z value is 2 meter, and we have this Boussinesq equation. So we can write, or we can fill this table. So how we are filling this table? We have already assume that Z is equal to 2 meter. So we can write, R is equal to, so we are taking the R value 0, 0.5. You can write 0.75, 1 or whatever. So just for understanding, we have just taken the 2 value. So we have the Z value and we have the R value. We can calculate the R by Z ratio. And by knowing the R by Z ratio, we can calculate the Kb value. By knowing the Kb value, we can calculate the sigma Z. And after putting the value, we can get this graph. So this is the graph of vertical stress distribution on a horizontal plane. So you can see that vertical stress just below the concentrated point is maximum. By increasing the value of R, sigma Z is decreasing. Third one is the vertical stress distribution on a vertical plane. So how we will get this graph? By assuming that R value is constant. We are just at a constant value of R. We are just we want to see that what are the distribution diagram will come if we will increase or decrease the value of Z. So we are taking the R value is constant by using the Boussinesq equation. So we are just taking the R value is equal to 1 meter. You can take any value, 2 meter, 5 meter, 10 meter. We are just taking 1 meter, and we can fill this table. So how will we fill in this table? We have the R value and we are assuming the Z value. It means the first row we are taking the assumption, and then we have the R value, we have the Z value. We can calculate the R by Z ratio, and then we can fill the second row. So we have the R by Z ratio, then we can calculate the Kb value. So we can fill the third row, and by using the Kb Z, so we can calculate the sigma Z value in terms of Q, and after putting this value in a graph, we can get this graph. So this is the graph of vertical stress distribution on a vertical plane. So in this graph, you can see that when the Z value is first increasing, so then if you increase the Z value, then sigma Z, the vertical stress is at a point is first increasing and then decreasing, and maximum value is occurring at a 1.22 meter vertical distance from the ground surface. So this is the one of the distribution graph in a vertical plane. You can take a constant value of R is equal to any value, but process we have to do the same. So the isobar diagram, vertical stress distribution on a horizontal plane on a vertical plane, we can see in a single graph. So you can see that this first one is the isobar diagram, vertical distribution in a horizontal plane, vertical plane. So all this distribution we have shown in this graph. Okay, in the figure 7. Are you getting my point? Okay, just follow some steps. So by using this table, we can make the graph, and we can. If you have any questions, so don't confuse with this. Let's assume the value of Z. In the question it will be given. You have to show that the distribution graph at the value of R is equal to 2 or whatever. So we'll just calculate the value of R by Z, Kb and sigma Z, and we'll put in a graph. You can get the whatever the graph, isobar graph, you can get the isograph graph, you can get the vertical stress distribution diagram on horizontal plane, on vertical, whatever. Westergaard equation. So the Westergaard equation are suitable for the soil of horizontal layer of silt and clay, and this is the not much used, but some in cases this is the very suitable. Westergaard equation more suitable than. So I will discuss in the one figure in what cases and where we can get the which equation is more suitable. So we will discuss on this condition. So the vertical stresses at a point P is given by the Westergaard equation. Sigma z is equal to this value. And one more thing we have to just note down, that whatever the assumption we have taken in the Boussinesq equation are the same assumption we have taken in this equation also, Westergaard equation. So that's why we have not discussed any assumption. So already have discussed assumption in the case of Boussinesq equation. So we can write sigma z is equal to q by z square into kw, where the kw is the Westergaard influence coefficient. Okay. So where we can write the kw is equal to this value, and kw, that is the Westergaard influence coefficient, and kb, where was the Boussinesq influence coefficient. So both the value we can see in one graph. So what are the difference input? So you can see in this graph, if we will consider the R by Z ratio is less than 1.5. So what we can see there, we can say that the kb value is greater than kw, means Boussinesq influence constant is more than the value of Westergaard influence coefficient. So after the value of 1.5, after the value of, if the R by Z ratio is greater than 1.5, so we are getting the kb is less than kw. So means we have to just be sure that in what condition and in what stage you are just calculating. So if you are in the if the ratio you are calculating, you are working in the R by Z ratio less than 1.5, so the kb value will come more. If we are in the R by Z ratio is greater than 1.5, so the kb value will come more. So here one more question is there. So determine the vertical stresses at a point P, which is 3 meter below and a radial distance of 3 meter from the vertical load of 100 kilonewton. Use the Westergaard equation. So all the data here given, Z value is given, that is 3 meter below, and radial distance is given, that is 3 meter from the vertical load, and load is given 100 kilonewton. So by using the value of Z, R, and Q, so we can calculate the sigma Z, that is the 0.681 kilonewton per meter square. Are you getting my point? These are the reference I have taken. So for the Boussinesq equation and the Westergaard equation, if you will remember only the equation, so you can solve any questions. So this all questions come from this two equation only. So you have to just remember what are the equation, what are the formula for the vertical stress distribution, vertical stress at a point in case of the Boussinesq equation or in case of Westergaard equation. So okay, thank you.